I'm Lyndsey Smith with Real Agriculture, and joining me now is Trevor Herzog. He is the Pioneer Agronomy Lead for Western Canada, based in East Central Saskatchewan, near Yorkton. Trevor, how are you?
I'm doing very well. We've got a beautiful sunny day here in East Central Saskatchewan today.
You are living in the charmed part of Canada right now, because I have
Yeah.
the opposite. So there you go. Uh, you know, on today's show, though, we did hear quite a bit, of course, consternation, some risk over fuel prices, fertilizer prices, um, really across the board. For some farmers, they've already pre-priced, so they're in a bit of better shape as far as fertilizer goes. But there's plenty farmers out there that maybe did not pull the trigger on some nitrogen. What are you hearing? What are farmers grappling with this week?
Yeah, we've been having some conversations with our customers, and you're 100% correct. You'll think back to the fall, let's say on average, we would have been experiencing about $1,000 a ton on nitrogen. And that's a pretty hard pill to swallow at that price. And so some customers were not booking their nitrogen fertilizer at that time. And now here we are today, it's $1,200 a ton. And we're 2 months away or a month and a half away from hitting the field. So that's a head scratcher at the moment. And what we're hearing from customers is, what are my options when fertilizer prices are that high? And we're starting to get a few more questions actually about pulse crops, one of those being soybeans. And soybeans certainly have a fit. We tend to rely a little bit on moisture in August to help us fill those pods. But we are getting asked quite a bit about soybeans as an option right now, as a lower nitrogen using crop for artificial, fertilizer sources. So that's an interesting conversation. We certainly have lots of options to talk through them, but if they haven't grown it before, there's a lot of agronomy sort of factors to be considered in that. So
hmm It is not necessarily a slam dunk for all areas, but there may not be other pulse options that are slam dunk either, right? So
yeah,
it's a much different conversation. Um, Now the other thing, I think, because I think soybean acres and or pulses become, of course, much more attractive when fertilizer nitrogen prices specifically are high. We have seen, though, some shifts in other costs like diesel. Um, but grain prices have changed too, and it's got some looking at, perhaps squeezing some of these rotations to not being a rotation at all. What are you hearing as far as, how crop rotation may change, and what are some of the watchouts there?
crop rotation, they're always so tricky, and every operation needs to look at their bottom line and what's going to get them through the next year, while trying to keep long term in mind. Um, this is not something that an agronomist would recommend, but customers are getting forced into areas that they don't normally like to think about, and that is canola and canola, with only snow in between. And it's not the best scenario to be considering, but when you have to pay bills and land, fertilizer, fuel, everything, all the prices of everything are gone up for inputs, it does become a little more common to have that conversation. So really all a customer can do in that situation is really think about your herbicide tolerant systems that you're using in canola. So if last year was Liberty Link, one of the best things you can probably do in a scenario like that that's not ideal is grow optimum gly. So you're looking for another herbicide tolerant system to help manage, number one, volunteer canola pressure that would come up from your previous crop and reduce your yield. But then the customer will have to be really diligent at keeping an eye on disease pressure and verticillium, blackleg, sclerotinia, all those main diseases in a tight rotation like that. If environment aligns, those can be hard to manage throughout the season. Once your crop is already in the ground, you're committed now. So
Yeah.
just things to think through. Talk to your local agronomist about those things. They'll be able to help you out, and the pioneer agencies in Western Canada are there to assist with that as well.
hmm I think it's important to note that this isn't ever a recommended thing. If anything, we want to stretch
Yeah.
those canola rotations, but reality is what it is, and at times you may have to deal with this on a field by field or farm by farm basis of what they decide to do this year, with things changing so rapidly right now.
The common saying is economics trump agronomics sometimes, and this could be one of those situations. So
yeah, absolutely. Okay. We're going to leave it there. A lot to think about, but as you said, call your rep, have that conversation, make sure you've sort of planned or penciled in potentially those added maybe fungicide passes or something along those lines that may end up factoring in. And Trevor, we'll check back again in a couple weeks and see where we're at.
absolutely. Thanks for the opportunity. Catch you later.